See, we are a balance between prarabdha karma. Prarabdha is something which we have collected from the lives, not its past karmas, past deeds, past actions, even past thoughts, because they come into action. The thoughts come into action. So everything we are collecting, and we are collecting them from lives. Many times we can't fulfill in this life, so it is carried on. And accordingly, we select our parents. First, we select our mother. We select our mother. So obviously, the father is selected. It comes with that because it's 1 plus 1. We know that what if they have other children, we know their children, and accordingly we select the brother and sister also, according to the karmas. We exactly know how we are going to suffer over there. We are very consciously we select our relationship. We normally say that relatives we cannot select our relatives, but friends we can select. It is other way. We select our relatives also. We even select our uncles many times, uncles and aunts. If we see a story, a life story of Sri Krishna, he knew he is coming for what? He had to kill his uncle. He selected that uncle because he had to come here as Sri Krishna, and he had to kill his evil uncle. Basically, he came to remove the evil, but evil was via his uncle, so he had to kill uncle.
I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so do we also select before being born our friends, all the relationships that we have throughout while we are alive, human beings, or just we select the family members, the relative members?
There are some relations which you select, but some you don't, because you exactly know. Actually, last time we discussed about that. During the death, you exactly know how you have led your life. It's just 1 second, the complete picture of your life goes through you when you're dying. The complete picture what you have done in your life, and accordingly you decide that these are the things I will not do. These are the things I will do. Accordingly, you had to whatever you did wrong or whatever you did right. Accordingly, you will select your parents. The first you will select your mother. So if you have a bad mother, it is you who is responsible. You cannot cry because you have come to finish your part of life which you have done to somebody. So you have to be with it because we have selected it. So we have to stand responsible for that particular relations. Now when we grow up, we are conditioned. So there are some relations which happen, some relations which we select consciously, and most of the relations we select unconsciously. Most of the time in relationship, we try to control our relationship. We repress. We do not. When you don't control, you transcend your relationship. When you transcend relationship, you become love. You transcend as love. The opposite person is not somebody else. It is you only. Then only the relation can be big. This transcendence, where does it happen? Self. It is within. Because if there is a relationship, it is within. The relationship is never outside. It is within. Two kinds of relationship we have. One is consciously we select them, and one is unconsciously. We are not aware. The kind of relationship we select and unaware, basically that happens in the business when you want something from that relationship. We need something from that relationship. We want to exchange, or we want to use the person like a thing, and that is how we select. As a child, when he is born, he knows everything about his past because he selected everything. He knows why he is there in this world. In this world, why he is there, and what's the purpose. And accordingly, after 6 months, the conditioning starts because his mind starts growing, and mind starts growing when parents start teaching the child. See, when he is inside, he is a part of you. Your mother, the child is inside you. He is a part of you. He is nothing separate than you. So whatever you do is going to him, because you are not two. Your relationship is nothing. It's an expression of yourself. And what you suppress, whatever you suppress, it will try to come out from the another window. We suppress our relationships. We feel that there is something missing in relationship. Now, what we do when we feel there is something missing in relationship, we try to find out in other people. What happens, in relationship most of the time, we are complaining. Suppose if I meet a friend, if I meet a friend or a partner or whoever, I am complaining. If I am talking about my relationship, say with my wife, my brother, sister, anybody, most of the time I am complaining. The happiness sharing is very little amount of sharing. Most of the time I am puking what I am not happy with. So I am puking my unhappiness. I am puking out my emotions. My emotions are based on my knowledge, which is very limited. It is very limited. I cannot know everything. And when I talk about that, he is not understanding my emotion. That opposite person doesn't understand my emotion. I am feeling depressed, I am feeling low, and I am talking about myself. He doesn't understand at all. He understands only words. Now what happens? He will understand words. Again, he will understand only that much, how much he can understand. Because we do not know the limit of his understanding. But we think that we have told somebody we feel like, but we have created a mess in our life by telling somebody. Now he will go and tell somebody else. He will go and tell somebody else. He will use the words. He will manipulate the words, and the words will change, and the meaning will change by the time it comes back to you in some form of relationship. It comes back. The relationship comes back to you in form of relationship, and you are only the one who is going to suffer the same words. The same negativity you are going to suffer. For any depression in your life or any negativity in your life, it's you only who are responsible. Somewhere you have started and it has come back to you. And it is nobody who is giving you. It is you are created and you are getting it back. That's a cycle of karma. When we talk about anything, what are we sharing? What kind of ripples we are spreading in the universe?
Our thoughts and emotions.
Totally, our thoughts only. Now, how much do we know? We claim to know everything. Even all the sannyasis and sadhus and maharaj and gurus, everybody claims that he knows everything. You ask a guru and he has an answer. It's not necessary he should have an answer. Why should he have an answer? Should a guru have all the answers? But he will answer you. Why? If he doesn't answer you, you are going to judge him. This guy doesn't know. It's okay. If he doesn't know, it's wonderful. Because we are only claiming to be knowing. And every knowledge is very limited. Nobody can know everything till he is connected to his own silence. Till he is connected to his own consciousness. Now, who can claim that he is connected? Nobody. If I am connected, it's only me I can claim that I am connected. But when I say that I am connected, am I right or am I wrong? I may be talking, I may not be connected. I am showing off. Nobody can prove it.
You don't connect all the time. You may be connected sometimes.
You can be connected all the time. You can be connected. You are aware. See, connection is there is nothing, something special is coming.
True.
It's just a consciousness. You are aware about every moment. This is what is happening with me. This is what I am talking. My hand is moving. I am talking to you. I am looking at your glasses. Your glasses are, there is a glare coming. You are looking directly to my eyes. Everything I am aware of. That awareness is, and that awareness can only happen in present moment. If it is happening in the past, you are not aware. You are aware of the past, but that's not going to help you. Because when I think of the past, I am getting the past in the present, and I am suffering on the same thing again. Suppose doctor hits me just now, and then I keep on thinking that doctor hit me, doctor. He's gone. He's done his job, but I keep on thinking that, I keep on suffering. A very useless thing to happen. That's not the way to live. But that is gone. Every relationship is like that. One simple example of my own life. I have my friends, my very close friends' wife over here. So they have seen me how I am. Very naughty person, joking and all. And when I go out with friends, I am the same old Satish. I am not teacher or I am nothing. So when you joke, they think, this guy must be a spiritual teacher. How he must be? Every friend. I'm not a teacher over there. I'm just a friend. I'm not a teacher over there. I'm a friend with you. Because if I'm a teacher all the time, I don't think some people will stand me. They will run away from me. Huh? Chal, he has something to tell me now. He will tell me something. So I can only enter when I'm sitting in a group or when I say okay. Or when somebody asks me. Because most of the time when you turn spiritual, you feel that you know everything and you start advising people. Which is a very wrong thing we do. I did that long back. Somebody will ask me and I feel I have a solution. I have read the solution. That's not my solution. And is that solution going with this person? Or this person or this person? No. Because every individual is unique. Everybody's problem may look same, but it is unique. And everybody has a different solution for the same problem. So you should know only one thing, that is self. You do not deal with people, you deal with their minds. For that you should know what is mind. And whose mind you will know. You have to know your mind thoughts. I have to know my mind. Based on the limitedness, it's going to come back to you in any form. That form can be your brother, it can be your sister, it can be your husband, it can be your wife, it can be anything. You are going to pay back. And that paying back, you cannot cry for it. You do not have. You cannot cry for the paying back. It's lovely. I have selected it. It's lovely. Acceptance. That acceptance will mellow down the effect of the ripples. Acceptance of the totality, not the part, the totality. This is how it is. And that will mellow down the ripples of that past karmas. The past karmas won't affect you that much. So you will be more content and happy. You will feel more fullness within you. Acceptance is not something which is momentary.
Yeah.
There are two things which are very important in life. One is forgiveness. It's going to come back till we don't forgive that particular incidences of our life. We have to forgive everything. Then second, that this is what is. It cannot be anything else beside this. You have to accept it. It may come back as a thought. Just be watchful. Just watch the thought. It has to go away.
But can you forgive?
Yes, you can. You should be.
I mean, you can forgive. Can you forget? Forget it.
Then you don't have to
sorry,
forget. You don't have to forget. Why should you forget? Suppose if I have some problem with you and I have forgiven you, after some time you come back with some problem again, I have forgiven you. Now I exactly know what kind of person you are. I do not have any bad or any evil feeling against you. I have forgiven you. But I will be very careful with you. Instead of reacting with you, I will be acting in awareness which won't affect me inside. I won't be disturbed, but I will handle the situation. I'll face the situation in much better way.
So the seed is still there. Yeah, that you'll be on guard, but
Remember, you'll remember that memory is there because your mind is full of memories.
So if you have really forgiven someone, even if that memory comes back, now the pain should not come back.
Pain won't
If
wait.
the pain comes back, means you are not really forgiven, your forgiveness is only once.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's not real forgiveness.
very true. Because here there is something reality happened in your life and you have gone through some suffering. So that forgiveness is very important. Because without forgiveness, it is very difficult to proceed. That will come back to you, keep on coming again and again and again and again. The first exercise, only exercise I think, only meditative exercise, which is very powerful, is forgiveness.
So
It has to happen.
Forgiveness comes when somebody asks for it, or it comes.
You have to, nobody. Who will ask for you? If I do something wrong with you, am I going to come to you and say, see, if you do something to me, who felt bad? You did. You did something wrong to me. Who felt bad? It's you or I. You already felt bad, that's why you did to me. You must have compared something or judged something and that is why you said something to me. But who felt bad? It's me. So whom should I forgive? First, because I felt bad, I made myself feel bad, I caught that words, I related myself with that words, and I'm stuck, I'm holding on that words, and I'm feeling bad about that words, what you told me. But words doesn't have any importance in life. They're just simple words. Like appreciation also, There's nothing, there's no importance to appreciation. It doesn't have any value. It's just related to your ego. So if you are happy with the appreciation, you shouldn't be unhappy with the words because they were just words, both are words. So what I do, I'll forgive myself, I'll forgive you also. Oh, now when you come back, I'm just aware. I know that you are short-tempered or you are whatever you feel bad. I won't carry that burden with me, that sorrowful thing. I'm not judging you also. I'm not comparing you also. I know this is what is.
So that hurt comes when the ego is there.
Yes.
So in forgiveness, the ego has to disappear, otherwise real forgiveness doesn't happen.
There is no delete button in life. There is no delete button in life. If something happens, it happened. It is how you act that is very important. How you face it, that is very important. And if you have a problem, there is nobody who is going to face it. You have to face it. There is nobody else who can face your problem. You are the only responsible person to face that problem. And that is what your human dignity is, facing the problem. It's not only that whatever we do, it comes as a hatred. Even when love comes back to you, it has come back because you have given something. It's all what you give. It's not what you take. It's all what you give. And giving is nothing which is with condition. Selfless giving. If there is a condition that I'll get something back, that giving is no. There is other way of living by being a witness. Just by being a watchman to everything, that is living spiritually. You cannot be affected by anything. Because everything is happening, it is wonderful. It has to happen. You have to act, not to react. Without disturbing your center, you keep on moving. That is the way the spiritual life is. That is the way you should be handling your relation with yourself. Because if there is a relation, first relation is you with yourself. Because when you came on this earth, the first relation, it is you who came. You as you are. There was nobody else. Then your first connection was your mother, then the father, or maybe then the nurse or a doctor, and then the father. Now, what happens once you start improving your relation with yourself?
So you start improving with the others also.
Who are others? First,
Parents.
parents. Then give the answer.
Everyone.
It extends to your first your parents.
Parents.
Then
They are the
first one.
basics.
Yeah.
So
And next,
your brother, sister, whatever.
brother,
The
sister,
family.
your family. Then
Extended family.
then extended family. Then
Everything. Slowly,
yeah,
everything.
and then you reach the universal.
Everything.
That is how you grow in relationship. Because first relation you have to improve is with yourself. Then the relationship starts growing to family, extended to the extended family, the relatives and uncles and aunts, and then to the world, our country, then to the world, and then to the universe. And that is what is growing spiritually. That is how we should be growing. And till you do not settle your relationship with universe, you are not settled in life. What we call moksha. That settling your relation with universe. Here, this house is nothing, is dharamshala. You are coming here to learn something, to take something, give something. You come as a student, you learn, and then you move ahead. You are not here I am not here in this house permanent. I'll go away from here, somebody will be taking over. You are just a visitor over here. And same thing, you are a visitor over there too. Because if you go there with your incomplete purpose, you have to come back. And it all depends how you build your relation with self. Now once you start building relation with yourself, there is nobody else in this world. Once you go towards the universe itself, there is nobody.